Alright guys, today we have Cyber Dragons K9 going against Sky Striker. So we won the rock, paper, scissors and we are going first. In our opening hand we have Corbat Grave, Fuwalos, Cyber Emergency, another copy of Fuwalos, so that's very unfortunate. 2 dead cards in our hand, and Cyberdark Chimera. Opponent opens Fuwalos, Corbat Grave, Sky Striker, Ace Ray, another copy of Fuwalos, and Pot of Desires. Alright, we're going to enter the main phase, activate Cyber Emergency. We're going to search for Cyber Dragon Core. And guys, I took the decision. I am simply going to pass for turn because we have 2 copies of Fuwalos. It was a massive risk I am taking because number one, if my opponent has Ash Blossom, Call By, Cross Out, yeah, you know, it's going to hurt us. But I decided to take the risk and simply pass for turn because we have 2 copies of Fuwalos. So my opponent's going to start their turn drawing into Sky Striker, Mobilize, Linkage. In the main phase, they'll activate Pot of Desires, banishing 10, and they're gonna draw 2. And here I decided, cool, I need to activate Fuwalos right now because if my opponent draws into Ash Blossom, that will be a problem for us. My mistake was, since my opponent had no response, I decided to drop the second Fuwalos. I think I should have waited for this. Like activate Fuwalos at a point in time where it is a guaranteed draw if they summon from the deck or extra deck. But I dropped the second copy of Fuwalos and my opponent draws into a copy of Forbidden Droplet and Upstart Goblin. Opponent will activate Upstart Goblin and then draw into a copy of the Black Goat Laughs. My opponent then sets Black Goat Laughs, Forbidden Droplet and Mobilize Linkage, and they'll pass for turn. So we draw into Cyberdark Realm. We enter the main phase. We're going to Norm Sound Core effect. Opponent activates Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you cannot special summon monsters from the deck extra deck for the rest of this turn. After this card resolves, except Sky Striker Ace monsters. Also send 1 other card you control to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. And if you have at least 1 light or 1 dark Sky Striker Ace monster on your field and or in your graveyard, the summon monster gains 1000 attack. Alright, cool. So my opponent is then going to chain Forbidden Droplet to negate our Cyber Dragon Core, which is no problem. They're going to special summon the new Sky Striker monster, Sky Striker Ace 0. And then my opponent has no response on resolution, so we're simply going to contact Fuse using his monster. Pretty good contact Fuse, getting rid of that disruption. Next we're going to activate Cyberdark Realm, search for Cyberdark Worm since we already have Chimera. We'll use Realm Effect, attempt to normal summon our Chimera. Opponent's going to chain the Black Goat Laughs and calls Cyberdark Worm, so we cannot special summon Cyberdark Worm. Normal summon Chimera, link summon into Clockwork Knight. Chain link 1 Clockwork Knight, chain link 2 Chimera. I just thought maybe if my opponent has an Ash Blossom, I'll just protect our Clockwork Knight to search the continuous spell. So we're just going to send Cyberdark Claw of Cyberdark Chimera. Next we'll activate Clockwork Knight, Reborn Chimera tributing Mega Fleet Dragon, and then we're going to use Chimera's effect, discarding Clockwork Knight to search for Power Bond. Link summon into SP. Next I use Clockwork Knight's effect. Since we can't special summon Cyberdark Worm, it's okay for it to be engraved, so I'll discard that to search for Therian King Regulus. Then I activate Regulus effect to summon himself, establish a form of negate. Next we're going to activate Power Bond. My opponent then activates Fuwalos and I decide to let it go through, but then he chains his second copy and I was like, okay, I can't let him draw 2 cards in case he survives his turn. So I call by both copies of Fuwalos and he simply passes for turn. So we're going to hop into game number 2 and my opponent made us go first because Sky Striker is normally a going second build. Opponent draws into Engage, Multi-Roll, another copy of Engage, Fuwalos and Ash Blossom. We draw into Jockle, Imper, Lupus, Chimera and Azuna. So unfortunately no Cyber Dragon plays, but it's all K9 plays. So we're going to enter the main phase. I activate Jockle effect, revealing himself and Lupus. My opponent drops the Fuwalos, I let it go through. I activate Jockle effect, my opponent Ash Blossoms it, so we just XC summon into Ripper. After we XC summon into Ripper, I use her effect to search for a case for K9. Since he did activate a monster effect, I'm going to set the quick play spell K9 X-Forced Release. I activate a case for K9, we're going to search for a copy of Lantern. Activate Lantern effect to reborn Jockle from the graveyard and special summon himself. I'm trying to play around Lightning Storm, so that is why I'm summoning my monsters in defense position. I then XC summon into Nash Knight, set Imperm, and pass for turn. Opponent draws into another copy of Ash Blossom. Sorry, they don't draw into a copy of Ash Blossom for turn. They drew it because we did XC summon into Nash Knight, and then for turn they draw into Super Poly. So in the main phase, opponent activates Raigeki. We unfortunately cannot do anything, so all our monsters get destroyed. My opponent activates Multi-Roll. They're going to set a card. They will now activate Multi-Roll. They're going to target one other card they control, send that card to the graveyard. Also, we cannot activate cards or effects in response to the spell card activations for the rest of this turn. And then the other effect is once per turn during the end phase, you can set Sky Striker spells with different names from your graveyard up to the number of Sky Striker spell cards you activated this turn, while this card was face up on your field, but banish them when they leave the field. So then they're going to activate Engage. We obviously can't respond to it, so they're going to search for Sky Striker Ace Ray. They'll activate Engage again to search for Linkage, and then draw into Draw since they have 3 or more spells in the grave. They'll normal summon Ace, enter battle phase, attack for 1500, use her effect to link summon into Sky Striker Ace 0. They'll use 0 effect. They get to add another copy of Linkage to their hand. They'll declare an attack. We take 2000 damage, I believe. Then they'll use Linkage effect, special summon Kogari. Kogari will also gain an extra 1000 attack. Kogari is just going to add the Linkage back, and I decide to negate Kogari. And now they'll use Linkage again. This time they're going to link summon into Hayate. Declare an attack. We take another 2500 damage, and yeah, that's game. We admit defeat. We're going to hop into game number 3. This time I decided to go second, guys. Alright, in our hand we have Caseful Canine, Ghost Bell, Cyberdog Claw, Infinite, Impermanent, Cyber Emergency. Opponent has Duel and Lockbird, Call by the Grave, Thrust, Ash Blossom, and another copy of Thrust. So absolutely no plays at all. So they enter the main phase, set Call by, and now they pass for turn. So we draw into Molchami for Walos. In the main phase, I do activate for Walos just in case they do any plays to summon from the deck or extra deck. Cool. Activate Cyber Emergency. We're going to search for Cyber Dragon Core. My opponent drops the Duel and Lockbird on us, so we can't do anything, unfortunately, so we pass back. Opponent draws into Pot of Desires, a good card for them to try and draw. They'll activate Pot of Desires, banishing 10 cards to draw 2 cards. They draw into another copy of Pot of Desires and Duel and Lockbird. So not looking good for our opponent still, and they pass for turn. We draw into Lightning Storm. We activate Lightning Storm. It was a call by. My opponent just activates call by on Fuwalos. We activate a Caseful Canine in case my opponent has draw, so we're going to search for Azuna. And he did have draw. So we'll activate Azuna effect. Azuna to send. My opponent drops the Ash Blossom. And now we just enter the battle phase attack. I believe that it should have been 3000 because Canine monsters gain 900 attack. I did forget about that. We'll set the Imperm and pass for turn. Opponent draws into Reinforcement of the Army, a really good card for them, so they're going to activate it, search for Sky Striker Ace Ray. Normal summon Ray, Ray effect to link summon into Sky Striker Ace 0. 0 effect, we decide to Imperm, and my opponent lets it go through actually. Next, they're going to activate Pot of Desires, banishing another 10, and they're going to draw 2 cards. We have no response to that, so they draw into a third copy of Pot of Desires and Linkage. My opponent will activate Linkage, use its effect to special summon Hayate. Enter battle phase. Because Hayate gains 1000 attack, they'll destroy our Azuna. Hayate effect is basically going to send a Sky Striker card from the deck to the graveyard, which will be the Sky Striker Ace Rose. Then they'll link summon into Kogari effect to add back. And here I was like, I definitely should drop this Ghost Bell because my opponent did not have any other plays. So I belled the Kogari, which does switch on their Thrust unfortunately. So opponent will activate Thrust, set D barrier. Then they'll link summon into Shizuku. Then they'll set Pot of Desires, Triple Tactics Thrust, and then Shizuku effect in the end phase is going to add engage to their hand, and pass for turn. So we join to Cyber Dragon Hertz. We normal summon core effect, search for Cyber Emergency, because we already have Cyber Dark Claw in our hand to search for Cyber Dark Realm. On resolution, my opponent's going to activate D-Barrier, call Fusion. So we activate Claw. Claw will search Cyber Dark Realm. Activate Realm. We're going to search for Cyber Dark Chimera. Realm effect is going to normal summon our Chimera. We link summon into Clockwork Knight. Here I was just thinking about my chain links. Chain link 1, Chimera, chain link 2, Clockwork Knight. We're going to search for the continuous spell and send Cyber Dark Worm to graveyard. And now here I tried to contact fuse, but my opponent reminded me I was under D barrier, so that was my mistake. So here I was thinking, how can I try and win in this position? I use Cyber Dark Worm effect. We'll send Hertz from our hand to the graveyard. Recycle Cyber Emergency. Hertz effect will trigger. We're going to search for Cyber Dragon Core. Then I use Clockwork Knight effect, Reborn Chimera, tributing our core. Clockwork Knight effect, discarding Clockwork Knight, search for Power Bond, even though we can't special summon fusion monsters. I activate Cyber Emergency. We're going to search for Cyber Dragon Nashta. I figured maybe we can just try get enough damage on board just by summoning Exceeds monsters and Link monsters. I summon Nashta, but I decide not to use Nashta's effect. We're just going to proceed with Clockwork Knight, search for Infinitrack, Crab, Crane. The reason why I don't use Nashta is I don't want to be locked into machines. Maybe I can try summon my K9 monsters for damage. So we use Infinitrack, tributing Clockwork Knight, and then we have 2 level 5s. We can go into K9 Ripper effect, search for Jockle. Oh, I did search for Jockle, but then I realized that I actually do have a K9 card in my graveyard, so I can just simply search for Lantern. I activate, well, before that, I link summon into Clifford Genius, then I activate Lantern effect, targeting the Azuna Engrave. That will trigger Clifford Genius. We're going to search for Therion King Regulus. Then I'll go Lantern effect, we'll search for our Quick Play spell. I Exceed summon into Nash Knight. I use Nash Knight effect to take his Shizuku. That way we have an open board against our opponent. Then I activate Therion King Regulus, and that's enough damage on the board so my opponent scoops. K9 Cyber Dragons takes the win, guys. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Naughty Nev signing out. Peace.